We've made it. We're actually here, which is fantastic. It's great to see all of you here. You're not all here yet, but I think a lot of you have. Congratulations on weathering any travel excitement you may have encountered on the way. My name is Richard Povall, and I'm the director of art.earth. And I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about art.earth. But before that, I just want to talk a little bit about this space. So most of the time, the others will be quite different in flavor. So right now we're in a black box and the windows are closed and the lights are on. We do have a door open to help with a bit of airflow for COVID, but there is an air handling system in here as well. So this is the kind of most formal space. And then as you move into the other spaces, it becomes increasingly informal. So you'll have a very different kind of set of feelings, a different set of experiences as you flow through the spaces. Art.earth is the primary producer for this event and the driver for the event. So we've had wonderful partnerships. But art.earth is really an organization that is focused on the world around us. So it's essentially about saying that art and artists in all of that form should be looking outward. It should be looking out to the world rather than in. And that actually art does have a role to play. It does have not just a voice, but it can make change happen. So that's really kind of where our heart is. And we do that in all kinds of different ways. And this is one of them. And by this, what I mean is about real knowledge exchange. And I think what marks these events out from those of you who might know a more familiar academic kind of conference environment is not just the kind of work that we do, which is often much more embodied, much more interactive, although there are formal sessions like this one. But it's also about a kind of essential spirit of generosity that underlies these events, that people are not here to claim to be the best at anything or better than the other people who are speaking, but about actually being in a very kind of safe and kind of non-competitive space. And I think that's very important to the core of these events. So that's what I invite you to for the next few days, ladies and gentlemen, is that kind of open, non-competitive conversation and sharing of ideas. And this particular event is a huge experiment for us. I've been personally absent from the stage since 2018, because when we did our event in 2019, I was ill, so I wasn't here. And then COVID struck and we ended up doing our following event online. So this is the first time we've attempted to do what is a genuinely hybrid event with a live audience and a non-live audience. Sorry, I shouldn't call them non-live. Sorry, people out there. A remote audience and attempting to make a space which is suitably rich or equally rich for everyone. We've taken some huge chances by trying to do this. So we hope we pull it off. And we hope that you'll bear with us if things start to go a little awry, but we hope they won't. So nevertheless, the in-person experience should feel just the same. And we hope that additional voices will come in to the conversation. I wanted to say also to those of you who are presenting, again, a big thank you for all of the time that you've put in. I have to say that our website is not fully finished. And what I mean by that, all the information is there. It's fine for a vehicle for information, but you all were very generous in sharing imagery with us. And at the moment, that flavor hasn't infused the website. I promise that it will. Not immediately, but it will. And so I just wanted to say a quick word about what will happen to the recorded sessions for this event. all the recordings will go straight to Zoom, and for about 2 months, they will be available there. And you will need to log in and use your registration to access them. But after that, probably by early autumn, we'll have transferred everything onto our website where it will be openly accessible. So again, that's a process where we may have to ask you to bear with us, but what it means is that the website for this event is still a live dynamic thing, and we'll continue to develop it. And we'll continue to put more information in, including the archive from this event. And of course, I want to close before I introduce Minou, just to say thank you to our hosts, particularly to Patrick and Adam and Chris, who are up there in the dark bit up at the top, who've done a stellar job trying to pull all these studios together for us. As Patrick said, we've never done an event like this at Dartington, so good on them for coming with us on that journey. And of course, the Dartington Trust in general, who've been very supportive in our use of the space and letting us be here and inhabit, almost kind of take over this rather special estate for the next few days. So welcome everybody. And I'd like to welcome Minou, who I hope is hovering somewhere over there in the dark.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to say a few words. I'm going to read some of them. I'm going to speak some of them freely. I'm not a big speaker. But first of all, I want to welcome you to Dartington. You here in the studio, but also those of you who are in a virtual Dartington online. Welcome. Yeah, welcome to this year's symposium. It's been a long time in the making, and I want to thank you for bearing with us with all the emails, many emails, some confusions, many unanswered emails as well. So thanks for your patience with all of that. And thanks so much for making the journey. I know that some of you have come from different places outside the UK. So thank you very much for being here. I hope this place will hold you well the next few days. We are here at Dartington, so a few words about this place. It's since the 1920s, for some of you who are not familiar, been a place for experimentation in the arts, particularly dance and movement. And it has fostered dance and dance experimentation, and many dance pioneers have come here kind of in between the 1930s and the 1980s onwards. They have partly fled kind of Nazi Germany, Nazi Europe, and they came here to Dartington in refuge, and they were able to develop some of their practices. And Dartington really has been this hub where dance practitioners have developed their practices and taken it out back to Europe and back into the world. And it has contributed very much to the development of new dance and movement in Europe and beyond. So in this context, also because I've been a Dartington College of Art student, I've grown my own dance practice here. So I'm really happy that we are all here today, bringing dance and movement questions, practices back to the estate. Dartington College of Art closed in 2010, and there has not been so much happening. So on a personal level, I'm very happy that we are all here today. Yeah. Yeah. So Dartington is home today. Dartington is home to Schumacher College, to a new Dartington Art School. There are many innovative entrepreneurs on this estate, so it's a real campus for radical and interdisciplinary learning, very much looking towards developing a more just, humane, and ecological future. So for some of you who don't know this place, there are lots of flyers out there. There's some amazing courses that run throughout the year. And just as a place of what it wants to do, the symposium is placing itself very much kind of in the lab of, or in this trajectory. Our symposiums, our art.earth symposiums, they happen every year. And really, they are a very generous place where we invite a broad spectrum of practitioners, fields, and disciplines to explore and celebrate our diverse practices. It's very much a celebration of diversity and just a place of sharing practice, having a dialogue, encountering differences, but in the end, coming away richer. So after 2 very hard years, I'm very happy that we can be here in person. And for me, at the heart of this year's theme, just for myself, lies that I want to feel more. I want to feel more rather than less. And I feel that movement practitioners have a lot to contribute towards the development of our senses and how we are able to sense the world as alive, as vibrant, as animate, and ultimate as kin. So developing these visceral capacities in the many different forms that all of us are practicing these capacities, I feel might increase some of our empathy towards the more than human world, towards other bodies that are made kind of the same planetary fabric, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be human. So feeling more rather than less, I feel might develop and increase our environmental literacy, our agency, and possibly translate to a more felt planetary kind of stewardship. And I kind of see these gentle practices somehow as different forms of a very delicate activism that I feel the world, looking ahead, the world might need. So some of the questions that are at the heart of this year's symposium are: can somatic practices and dance offer new modes of thinking, perceiving, and being with, necessary for an embodied planetary citizenship and stewardship? How can the increase of somatic awareness within ourselves and our environments invoke greater care? And how can care foster more empathetic, responsible, and sustainable action? How does the ecological crisis call on, disrupt, radicalize, and transform fields such as dance, choreography, and somatic practices? And how can these ways of knowing be trained, passed on, and how can it inform new fields within dance and movement practices, as well as become relevant beyond the field of dance? Yeah. I want to thank this symposium wouldn't have been possible at all without you. So thank you very much for being here. It would have not been possible without Richard, without Kat Radford, our producer, without our volunteers, without Patrick, Adam, and Chris, who are running the tech side of things. I also want to thank Darren, my mum, and who have been supporting very much in the background. And I want to close with some very boring housekeeping points. So there are still many, many moving pieces in these next 3.5, 4 days. And every morning we're going to have a housekeeping moment where we are going to let you know what the changes are. I hope for those of you who cannot make it, you can hear word of mouth. But basically, for the duration of the whole symposium, if you need anything, you come and find us in Studio 5, which is just up the stairs, the little room right next to where coffees and teas are. If there is a fire alarm, basically stay calm and you can follow the directions of our stewards who know exactly what to do. There are fire doors all behind this building, so you just have to walk out the door and the steward will direct you. A little bit about this building in general. So we have 3 main studio spaces. All 3 of them are very different. Studio 6 is a bright studio. Studio 3 is embracing you. It doesn't have any windows, but it's very lovely in there. And this is our main studio space, mostly blacked out. The building is open every day from 8 in the morning until 11 at night. In case you get locked in, a security is going to walk around at 11. There is I hope you don't get locked in, but if you walk to the opposite building around the corner inside, there is a green button next to the door where you'll always have a way out. If you have any problem with your accommodation, the best thing is you let guest reception know, and they will help you out. If it's a booking issue, you can also come and speak to us. And finally, for all presentations where you want to show anything on a screen, please bring your entire presentation on a USB stick with you. That's really important. Morning practice, which is, I think, from 6:30 or 7:30 in the morning. In our program, it says the meeting place is in Studio 6. The meeting place for the movement, mind and ecology is student morning practice. I think it starts at 7:30, I think, or 6:30. The meeting place for this is in a round archway where you checked in for your accommodation. And now a few changes as well. For today, Simon Whitehead's workshop, because it's so bright at this time of year, we would like to start at 9:30 and go to 30 past midnight. So you will be finishing outdoors, but we will start in Studio 6 at 9:30 in the evening. The panel with Triarchy Press, the book panel, will be in here, and we don't start at 8:15 as printed in the program. We start at 8:30. So you have a bit of time in between dinner and what comes next. And that's everything. If you have any questions, come and speak to me or to Richard, or come and find us in Studio 5.